Ever hear the expression, you learn something new every day? Well, I learned a couple of things yesterday, okay, in real time. But of course, real time for me was yesterday, which was Wednesday of the previous week. You're going to hear this on Thursday, the following week. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. This is Jan. Welcome to another episode on this channel, the Save Money More Jen channel. How you doing this morning or this afternoon or this evening? Hope everybody's doing well. Two things I learned. One, I discovered a tune from the 1960s from a band that I thought, well, I never knew about this tune, put it that way. And it was great. And I shared it with a friend. Great tune. Just don't even remember the name of it. I wrote it down somewhere, but it was great. Now, that's a minor thing that I learned. And sometimes you think you know the whole album. Of course, there goes the bird clock. Ay, 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 ay. Good morning, bird. It's 6 a.m. the week prior. All right. So nothing a big deal. However, the next thing I learned to me was an eye opener. Okay. And I learned it from a video. So I'm just going to mention the name of the video. You may wish to look it up. And it was quite interesting and quite a learning experience. And the name of the video is How America Ate in Shifts During the Great Depression. Never have I ever heard of that. Now, when I first looked at the title, How America Ate in Shifts, I'm thinking, well, maybe some people ate at the table at 4 o'clock and some people ate at the same table at 5 because it was a big family and they had a small table. That's one of the first things people might think about. But that is not what that video displayed, what that video showed. It actually showed people who are trying to cope with all of the aftermath and the ongoings of the Great Depression, okay? Which followed, of course, that big stock market crash of 1929 and everything else that followed, like a domino effect. Some people had it so hard, okay, that they would take turns eating. For example, let's say it's a regular family, nuclear family, if you will, mom and dad and 2 kids, okay? And let's say the mom would designate that she would eat on Monday and her daughter would eat on Monday. She and her daughter would eat on Monday, and the dad and the son would either have very, very little or not at all. Not at all. So if you want to watch that video, check it out. I'm like, what? And then maybe take alternate days on the calendar just for survival. It wasn't about, oh, I don't like this. Oh, I don't like that. I mean, we all have our likes and dislikes. That's life. That's real life. And we were all different. And we all have our likes and dislikes. This was a matter of survival. Okay. And well meaning people in the millions were jobless. I thought I heard on that video or a similar video because they've been sending this kind of video to my feed. And it did fascinate me and I did go into them. Something like 1 every 4 families at that time. Just imagine a block with a bunch of families in it, right? A bunch of apartments or houses. 1 out of every 4 families had no income coming in. Horrible, horrible, horrible. And the interesting thing was that the folks found a way to get through it. Now, I'm not recommending that kind of a way at all. I think that was quite horrible, quite sad, and it breaks my heart. And what it does is it constantly reminds us, or should, of how appreciative we could be. I'm not sure if we're as appreciative of certain things that we are today. Instead, we fuss over, in my opinion, what I would consider trivia stuff as far as like, but I don't like that certain candy or, whatever. People were starving right here. People wanted to work. They didn't feel like if they break a fingernail, the world's going to end. These are hard-working, honest folks that wanted to work and found dignity in getting up and going to work. There are a lot of, especially the men that worked outside, they felt very embarrassed getting dressed up to go to work. You'll see the video if you have a chance. getting all dressed up to hopefully get a job, and just standing around on corners and in their suits, wearing signs saying unemployed, seeking employment, or something to that effect. That had to be very humiliating. I can only imagine. Then there was this big surge in people were selling apples for a nickel. Now, I know I might have briefly mentioned some of this on a recent video, but these videos have been coming up on my feed, and learning about people eating in shifts, SHIFTS, was shocking, and not because of space at a table. Wow. People made hard sacrifices. Here's the thing, though. They didn't complain. They didn't complain. Today, we're all whining, crying, and complaining. Maybe we should all consider dialing it back and being a little more retrospective and watching more situations like that videos as a reminder of all the stuff we need to be grateful for. But you know what else was fascinating? How people did get together and help each other out. For example, there was an area of the video where it showed a certain section, I believe it was in Columbus, Ohio, where 4 families in a community got together and they were bartering for each other. Somebody was an expert, kind of a farmer. Somebody else ran a laundry business. Business didn't work out, but they helped like with other situations regarding clothing. Okay. And I believe someone else may have helped with food or childcare. The point is, everybody pitched in together, and everybody worked towards a common goal and just living a more tolerable life. I can't even say a great life. Wasn't a great life yet. People went through things, and they were so grateful. For example, let's say they didn't throw out anything. They would reuse bacon grease over and over and over and over again with food, growing their own potatoes, making 2-3 potatoes last for many meals, making their own bread. That was the norm. Buying a loaf of bread probably at that time was the exception, okay? But finding ways, they found that it was cheaper at that time to make their own bread. So some people made simple breads with, let's say, lard and flour, just that. Some people didn't even do that. Some people made some sort of a cracker, kind of a bread with water and flour. They worked with what they had. They didn't complain, stretched it out, made the best of things. I am convinced that attitude is half the battle won. I am completely convinced that attitude is half the battle won. So that's the way it worked back in the day. Anyway, very thought-provoking. Going to mention the name of it again. If you're interested in checking out that video, I think it runs over an hour. So sit down, get some popcorn. Maybe you want to sit down with the grandkids and show them how it used to be. How America ate in shifts during the Great Depression. Highly recommend it. And that's it. Thank you so much, very much, for being here. I appreciate every single one of you. I know not all of us have optimal conditions. We're all trying our very best. That's why we watch these frugal channels and budget channels, and we learn lessons. And sometimes we need to take a look back. What did they do to get through it? Then you're going to get a whole barrage of wonderful videos showing you the different foods. From other people that made videos, how grandmas did it, 25 or more ways to save money, and the frugality. Take a lesson from the past. They got through it. That's proof positive to me. They got through it, and they got through it very well. In fact, some of the meals from back then that started because of the impoverished situations are still many times a staple today. To this day, 100 years later, almost 100 years later. There you go. All right, everybody, have a great day. Take care of yourself and your amazing family. Thank you.